You guys ready for this? I hope you guys enjoyed the music. Alrighty. Let's see what we're looking at. So this is the Bean Man's monthly pick. Almost halfway there. I'll definitely check it out after this. I heard the mud was rough. It sure was. But as always with all of Brian's beans that he gives us from Fat Beans Coffee Lab, they come in these lovely resealable containers. Our boy Brian has been a huge support of the channel ever since I started talking about doing roast rates. So we give our boy Brian a shout out. Fat Beans Coffee Lab. He roasts these live on Twitch. And he does an amazing job. Oh, that's not good. Were you going to let me see it? Yeah, there we go. Okay. It was going behind the game, so I wanted to make sure that I could see it. But Brian roasts these live on Twitch. It's really cool. He's a really knowledgeable individual. As always, with all of these beans, you can purchase them on his website if you are so inclined to try. He's got this marked down as a dark roast, but based off the way that the beans look, that kind of gives me a medium dark roast, just because as I can show you here, maybe. They're not quite as dark as our other dark roasts have been. You can tell based off the looks of them, they haven't necessarily hit that second crack, which is those of you who don't know. And this might be your first time here, but you see these beans. They're still pretty put together. You don't have... And that's the nice part about Brian and his beans, is he does very good at getting all the defects out. But these don't look like they've quite hit second crack. I've got a couple in here that look kind of like it. But most of them just look like they've just been the first crack. So it's probably closer to a medium dark roast instead of a dark roast. He's also talking that we have... that it's going to be more acidic than it is bitter. So that'll be interesting to see as well. It's supposed to be smooth with a sweet kick. We'll see how it goes. The description we're looking at is caramel flavor along with some light citrusy stuff. I guess it does say medium dark. Alright, so I was right. So a butt crack. No, it's a little bit different. It's hard to explain without being able to show you guys like an actual bean that's hit that second crack. But I am looking forward to it. As you guys all know, I'm a sucker for dark roasts. We have a good time with those here. The one and only dime that we've had on here was a dark roast, is Sumatra. And we actually have some more Sumatra coming up, which I'm super looking forward to. Because I'm a sucker for a dark roast. They usually have a chocolatey undertone, and that is all about my jam. I'm interested to see... I'm surprised that a medium dark roast has a citrusy taste. I mean, you can't really smell it. It just smells like one of the darker roasts that we've had. Usually with the lighter roast, you can get that flavor. You can get the smells that go along with that to come out more. But usually once you start getting into the darker roasts, usually those fruitier undertones are taken out. I don't know if that has to do with the processing of the types of beans. Yeah, mud. No, not today. But I don't know if that's got to do with like the processing or just the areas that they're from. I know, like I've talked about before, altitude and all that other stuff have a big effect on the flavors of the bean, the altitude, where they're from, what region they're in, depending on how close they are to the equator, etc., etc. But I was a fool and poured a full cup of coffee instead of just like the little bit to let it cool down. You know, I can tell it's getting colder. You can see my coffee cup steaming. It's you can see that bad boy. You can see that steam coming off of my cup. That's how you know it's cold. I love it. This 50-degree weather can stick around forever. But let's dive in, shall we? Ooh. So it's bitter than I thought it was going to be, or more acidic than I thought it was going to be. The caramel is very undertone. It's the acidity in it really is a bit overpowering at first. We'll see how it goes as we keep drinking on it a little bit here. But so you have the acidity is what you really taste in the beginning. Did you say 50-degree weather? I did. It is beautiful in here. That first day of fall hit and summer just checked out, and it is amazing. That's why you see me wearing pants instead of my shorts. And then I've also got my little long sleeve shirt on. But I don't know how much I agree with the smooth cup of coffeeness. It does have that sweet kick that I talked about, that it talks about in there. It's not bad by any means. From what I'm really, it's really, I don't know if maybe I made it too strong. I don't think so, because it's about what I've got a pretty good process down for the way that I make the coffee. But you can definitely smell the caramel. But it's definitely very acidic at the beginning. So you've got the acidity that starts with, and then it goes into the caramel. I don't quite get the citrusy flavors that it talks about. It's mostly just a caramel undertone. Maybe at the very end. Let's try that again. Just chuck a craft caramel cube in there and it'll work real well. With pairings, I don't really know. I'm really bad at pairings. What I pair my cup of coffee with is another cup of coffee. Usually, I'm sure this would go well with something sweet, just to kind of counteract the acidity of the cup. But usually, I am a sucker for something sweet, and then follow it with a drink of coffee. Especially when like my little old ladies get me cookies and stuff. Usually when you bite into like a nice chocolate chip, it's really sweet and stuff. And then like while it's still in your mouth, you take like that sip of coffee and then it can fuse together and make like a really sweet with like that crumbliness. Oh, that is where it's at. Yeah, well, I appreciate you fighting that urge, Father, and not doing that. I'm going to rate it, probably going to give it a 6. Because, it is a dark roast and it has a soft spot in my heart. But, he's done that once before and it scared the piss out of me. And then for the next month, I was constantly looking behind my back for him. He's already done it once and he's promised me he won't do it again. It's not, so basically what if I feel like I'm scoring like my base cup of coffee, my Maxwell House that I drink at work every day, I'm just calling those 5s, right? And, so I'm calling those 5s. This is a step above just that Maxwell House because you do have the flavors integrated into it. It doesn't have very many flavors. So it's not that much better than that. The taste, it's almost like a generic cup of coffee with a little bit of extra. If that makes sense. That's the way that I kind of base my rating system on. Is like 5's your average. Okay? And then each step up or each step down. How would it work on a French press? Honestly, I have no idea. I've never had a coffee made out of a French press. It's definitely something I'm planning on integrating in the future. Like I'm looking at, I just can't pull the trigger on it. I don't really know what I'm looking for. I've talked to like Brian. I've talked to our buddy Major Payne that's in here that stops in every once in a while. They have experience with that kind of stuff because I know like pour overs are better for light coffees because the water sits in the in the grounds longer, so it can pull more flavors out. It's always prefer. Okay, well, and it's definitely something I'm intending on going into. Mud is a 10, yeah, right. Negative 10, but it's definitely something I'm planning on going into. For example, like roast rate day. All right, we're just gonna do the drip pot, but espresso is not necessary. I've never had an espresso, so I can't really say it's not my thing. I don't think I've ever had espresso, but I know espresso machines are rather expensive, and it's not something that I'd be willing to fork the money out to just do like one shot of every day. Not every day, but God, could you? I mean, I could probably do a shot every day. I could probably do a shot every couple hours, but yeah, it's just your normal kind of cup of coffee. It's not crazy. It's not, but it could also just because of the drip pod. If we had other types of preparation methods, I think maybe we might be able to rank it a little differently. And that's definitely, what if an espresso machine just showed up at your house? Yeah, right, get out of here. I do not need an espresso machine. I've already got 2 coffee makers. I do not need a third. You know what I'm saying? I've got my Keurig, I've got my drip pot, and I do not need another one. Yeah, I would definitely pair this with something sweet first, just because of how acidic it is. When it comes right out the get-go, because it's just like, boom, first thing you hit is that acidity. And then, what about a new capture card? That's also in the works. Again, I haven't done enough research on it to pull the trigger on that. That's where that comes from. I do remember when Jenny had an espresso machine. Because she wanted to work at Starbucks or whatever, right? Wanted to get that frother, and not frother, but the foamy thing. I don't know terminology when it comes to espresso. But yeah, it's I'm a little bit disappointed. That's not better. You know what I mean? Just because it's a darker roast. Darker roasts have notoriously scored better on these. But we have another Sumatra bean coming up in the works. I do still need to get Woe's cheese coffee. Ugh. Oh, Mom got it. I see. Okay, well, but then I can't say that I don't have it. No. But we have another Sumatra in the mix. We've got an Ethiopian. And we've got 2 others that I am looking forward to. We got a ton of coffee in the mail today. So we are set for a while. And then by the time we get done with all this stuff, we will be good to go for the future. Ethiopian. See, now Ethiopians... The first coffee we roast rated was an Ethiopian. And I feel like I did it dirty because I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like we've branched our flavors out. This is our 22nd roast rate. Can you believe that? 22 different kinds of coffee beans we've tried. And we've gone from the entire spectrum. It's crazy. But I'm looking forward to more. I'm looking forward to continuously buying beans from Brian. I am not ready for Mud 2. Just look at this bad boy. Look at it. It's just waiting to be opened. It wants to be opened. Look at all that crap. Look at all that. Look. Tea, ginger, cardamoms, black pepper, nutmeg, cloves. I bet you they're ground up cloves too. But yeah, it's a chai. You can definitely tell the other one was a chai because it's literally the only thing you can taste. But yep, that's rated at 6. Good cup of coffee, nothing out of this world by any means. 6 might be a little bit generous. You might be calling my bluff on that record, but it is, like I said, it is a step above our regular cups of coffee. Once again, big thank you to Brian at Fat Beans Coffee Lab. It slows the absorption. Really? Huh. I didn't know that. Look at you knowing shit, Luke. But it's really good. It's not out of this world good. You know what I'm saying? But big thanks to Brian at Fat Beans Coffee Lab, as always, for supplying our coffee. It means a lot to me, buddy. You do great work. And I look forward to more wonderful cups of Dirty Bean Water. But that's our roast rate. I hope you guys enjoyed. Well done. Quite the rate. Thank you. I work hard for my money. So hard for it, honey. I gave it a 6, Ma.